So, the micro niche method is the easiest way to sell beats in 2025. I started implementing this for my students this year, and in return, I generated my students over $300,000 in profit so far this year using the micro niche method that I'm about to show you. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can start this no matter how much experience you have. And if you already have a beat selling business right now, how you can expand your business in just a couple of weeks. So, the micro niche method is starting a small type beat channel with a hyper focused niche, and doing it in a way that builds a loyal audience that eventually starts to know, like, and trust you, which keeps them coming back and eventually leads to them becoming a lifelong customer on autopilot. In my case, I've been running Type Beat channels since before my balls dropped, and as a result, I've gotten tens of millions of views on my own Type Beat channels, made over $250,000 in pure profit before I even graduated high school off of solely uploading Type Beats. And if I would have known about the micro niche method, I wouldn't have even bothered trying to grow to tens of millions of views. In fact, if I could trade one of my Type Beat channels with over 60,000 subscribers or a micro niche Type Beat channel with say 5,000 subs, I would do it in a heartbeat. Now you might be thinking, well, why on earth would you do that? Well, that's because the views to sales ratio on a micro niche Type Beat channel is significantly disproportionate compared to the views to sales ratio on a Type Beat channel that's on a non-profitable niche. Now, in case you're curious about what a micro niche Type Beat channel actually is, I put up some other examples here of my own students who I've helped grow their Type Beat channels lately, and all of these guys are selling like crazy. If you think, oh, well, they don't even have a lot of subscribers, guys, yeah, that's the point. In 2025, if you're still chasing subscribers and you think that that's what leads to sales, then you guys are playing in the little leagues. Because yeah, subscribers, they matter if they're the right type of subscribers. Because the whole point of a micro niche Type Beat channel is to attract your ideal customers. That's it. You want to attract artists that are actually going to buy your beats. Because if they're not, then why would you even want them on your channel? And what's crazy is this will actually most likely hurt your channel, because if they don't want your beats, then they most likely don't even care about what you drop, which then tells YouTube, okay, if his own subscribers don't actually care, then no one else should care. So let's not promote him to other people. And look, I'm not saying that every single one of your viewers has to 100% be the type of artist that buys. Guys, that's impossible. But if you focus on the rule, then you will inevitably drive more sales, because you're so much more focused than all the other producers who are stuck chasing views all day and end up getting nowhere. Now, the real kicker is when you have a micro niche Type Beat channel that attracts your ideal customer, but then you want to also have a high converting funnel in place that you can send these artists to eventually have them turn into loyal customers. You see, most producers make the mistake of chasing millions of views and just hoping that someday someone will want to buy their low ticket MP3, Wave, or unlimited license. But my question is, why wait? Why wait for something to happen when you could control your end result? Why waste your time guessing when you could be adding more and more beats to a micro niche Type Beat channel that's in an extremely profitable niche? That way you can just keep adding more and more fuel to the fire. Because look, guys, a micro niche Type Beat channel isn't meant to make you thousands of dollars off of AdSense revenue, which it definitely can, but that's not its main purpose. Its entire purpose is to be the compounding marketing machine that constantly is driving more and more high quality leads and lifelong customers, as a result building you what I call a sustainable beat selling business that works for you while you sleep. Now, I want to go over a couple of these examples so that way you have a clear understanding of what a micro niche Type Beat channel actually is. So for example, one of my students did Leon Thomas x R&B x Neo Soul. That is a micro niche. Okay, this is a perfect example of a micro niche because it's a not so popular artist, right? I mean, it's pretty popular, but not everyone and their grandma is doing a Leon Thomas type beat or an Amy Winehouse type beat. And when you combine this with the genre, right, and you go even more specific with like neo soul, right, you're going so direct to exactly the type of customer that you want to attract versus just dropping a R&B type beat. Like, that's so broad. The more and more focused you get with your keywords and your overall aesthetic of the channel, you start to build a brand around that, which creates diehard fans because you're giving them exactly what they want, and your ideal customers will keep coming to you because you're the only one supplying them with what they want. You're the only one doing exactly what they want. There might be other people doing Leon Thomas type beats, there might be other people doing R&B in general, but no one is doing it exactly like this. No one is diving into exactly what they want. And look, when you give people what they want, for example, if you needed your fridge repaired, right? But you had a specific type of fridge. Imagine you saw a video on how to fix that specific type of fridge. You'd be like, wow, that was so valuable. This guy is a lifesaver. Whereas if someone just dropped a video on how to repair a fridge in general, it wouldn't be as useful because it's not tailored to that person's specific situation or what they need at that time. And so that's why a micro niche Type channel is so good for getting sales and building actual loyal customers and creating a sustainable beat selling business. Guys, we have never experienced an opportunity like this before because YouTube didn't used to work like this. In the past, you had to chase millions of views constantly on the content hamster wheel, right? You were constantly struggling to just chase the next viral video. Whereas now you don't need even a million views to make tens of thousands of dollars from your beats. Now, I want to quickly go over a roadmap to 10K a month with a micro niche channel, and I want to show you guys exactly how I would go about that. So first, you're obviously going to need a profitable niche. That's number one, right? You need a profitable micro niche. Now, the way I go about that is like the first thing you need to do is start with overall like the profitable genre. So essentially you'd want to go for, let's say, R&B, just as an example. We have R&B as the genre, right? It's very broad. We don't want to just do R&B because there's all kinds of, there's guitar R&B type beats, there's trap soul beats, there's Drake R&B type beats, there's all kinds of different R&B beats, Pain R&B, there's all kinds, right? So we want to get very specific. So all we have to do to create a micro niche is we start with the genre and then we just break it down into a subgenre. So trap soul, for example, right? We can even now break this down further. Okay, who are artists that make trap soul music? Okay, we can think of Bryson Tiller, for example, right? There's a couple other artists in that space. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but this is essentially what I'd go with. And so I would do Bryson Tiller, X trap soul, X R&B type beat, right? That's a good micro niche. I wouldn't say that's the greatest one, but that is an example of kind of the process you go with it. So let's say we want to do R&B again, right? We want to do R&B. Let's break this down further into another micro niche. Okay, let's go for someone who maybe wants a specific sound. Maybe they want more of the 90s sound, and this is going to attract a more mature audience because, you know, people that listen to the 90s music, they probably grew up with that, so they're more mature. And so let's say we want to do like Aaliyah 90s, right? We broke it down and we want to go for 90s. Okay, let's do Aaliyah. I might have spelled this wrong, bear with me. X 90s R&B type beat, right? And so these can be like maybe guitar R&B beats or whatever, right? So now you have like a micro niche. Not many people are doing Aaliyah X 90s R&B beats, okay? So you create your own micro niche, which then eliminates any competition you would have had going for Drake type beat or any other keyword or even R&B in general. You take the same genre and you go for that niche in a way, but you just break it down further, creating a micro niche that targets a specific type of person. Then it's really easy to create products around this, which I'll get into now, right? You'd want to create a beat pack offer. Okay, since we have our ideal audience, all we have to do is just create a product around that. Okay, let's create a funnel. So you'd get like a beat pack offer. Maybe you have like a R&B vocal preset included, right? If you know how to mix and master. And then this is just a digital product, right? It's not like a service or anything. And then you just include like a bunch of R&B beats, right? And then you package that into one product. You make a nice cover art, or you hire someone on Fiverr to create the cover art for like 20 bucks, doesn't matter. And then now you have a product, and you would use like, you know, a landing page or a website funnel. If you guys are curious about that, like I am hosting an event where I'll break that down further, but more on that in a second. Now, since you already have your ideal audience, the likelihood of them buying this specific R&B beat pack, which maybe has even a picture of Aaliyah on the cover or something like that, right? Or it's in the style of that, and you have the previews and everything, it's the beats that you know they like, the conversion rate is going to skyrocket, right? Because you're not guessing, you know exactly what they want. And so that's why this funnel is perfect for selling beats, and I will be breaking down further in depth in just a second. Now, you also want to be uploading every day, or at least have a consistent schedule. I know a lot of you guys, you know, you work a 9 to 5, you have college, or you have school, or you're in high school, even some of you guys are a bit younger, or, you know, you just have kids, maybe we all have lives, right? We have responsibilities. And so life gets in the way. Not all of us can upload every day, especially if you're doing a niche more in like R&B, which maybe takes a lot longer than making a future type beat, right? But just make sure, you know, bare minimum 3 uploads a week, right? Just have a consistent schedule, and that is the main thing. Now, you also want to look for an outlier list. Let's say you have your niche, right? You want to go on YouTube and actually search this, and using a tool like vidIQ, you can actually, if you install the Chrome extension, it will show you 3x multiple next to a beat, or it will say 90x or whatever. And if it is like a 10x and above, like that is a significant outlier. What an outlier outlier is just a beat that performed way better than all the other person's beats, right? So that kind of shows you, okay, what type of thumbnail format to go for, what's working right now. And so if you guys want me to make a video on like how to actually create a proper outlier list so you know exactly where to go from there, I can totally do that. But to keep this video simple, is these are the core fundamentals you want to be going for if you want to reach 10K a month with a micro niche typey channel. Now, why does a micro niche typey channel work? Well, number one, it builds connection, okay? When you're giving people exactly what they want, they will only go to you because there's no other person out there, there's no other producer that does it like you. So you create a loyal, die-hard fan base, which the algorithm loves, by the way. I don't know if you knew, they love it. And so of course that leads to sales, right? So you're building connection because you're giving them what they want, and they constantly will come back for that sound because they love that sound. And that's why going more and more focused on a niche is crucial. And YouTube prioritizes this format, okay? Because they actually like it when you give someone what they want, because guess what? They tend to watch longer. And what does YouTube like? They like it when a person watches longer because they make more money off the AdSense revenue. So YouTube prioritizes this format, and which is why there's no better opportunity in the type beat space and just in the online beat selling space in general than creating a micro niche type beat channel. It just wins every time, okay? Now, it also converts a lot higher than a traditional type beat channel that's like chasing millions of views. Why? Because think about it, you're attracting your ideal audience, so you know what to sell them. You have the exact type of beats they want, so it's going to convert way higher than if you did R&B broad and had all types of R&B beats and all that, like it was all over the place. There's going to be a lot more clicking around, not really finding what they want. But if you sell exactly what they want, guess what? Of course that leads to higher conversions, especially when you implement, you know, funnels and stuff, which I'll get to in a second. But the most important thing is this builds an actual beat selling business, one that is sustainable and one that can actually work for you while you sleep, okay? That is the most important thing that we are going for. A lot of us producers, our dream is just to wake up to sales every day, and this is how you get there, right? It's a micro niche type beat channel. Now look, all of these guys that I just showed you are selling like crazy. How do I know this? Well, because all of these guys are my students and I'm helping them implement all of these systems and strategies. That way they don't need to guess anymore, and they can streamline the process of them going from zero to full time in a matter of months. Now look, I'm not here to sell you anything. If you really want my coaching, you can just hit me up on Instagram. But what I really want to talk about is that I'm actually hosting a 3-day live event where I'll be teaching you guys how to start, grow, and scale your own micro niche type beat channel, and how to optimize it, and finally how to monetize it to its fullest potential. So this event is completely free, and you can save your spot down in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good night, and I'm wishing you the best.